Representative, I just want to unpack this a little bit and make sure that I understand this correctly. Currently, the way it's structured, there's 3 student trustees that would be qualified to have voting rights for university. Is that correct? That would be selected by the students. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And these students have the ability to vote on bonding issues that could potentially increase the indebtedness of a university for a time that extends beyond their tenure as a student, correct?
They do have a vote to possibly do that.
In addition to all this, they also have policies that they would be able to set for the university, correct? Policies that are very wide-ranging throughout the world of academia. Is that correct?
Yes.
And these particular students that would be elected have historically always been asked to have a few things, and one of them was to be a resident in the state of Illinois for 6 months. In addition to that, simply was a registered voter, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you're removing the ability for that person to be a registered voter. So for somebody that is traveling from outside this country, you can pick your region, they would have voting rights, correct?
So, Representative.
Correct? So somebody from Europe can come over here, go to college, and they would have a voting right if elected by this body, correct? They would have the right to, right to tie us to bonds. They would have a right to engage in tenure discussions. They would have the right to engage in general policy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is there any country you're aware of where I can go to college in a different country and have voting rights?
No, I'm from Illinois and also attended the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
So there's no college in the world that you're aware of where I can travel to and be elected by a body and have voting rights to bond out a college for additional debt in perpetuity to a defined years. There's no other example you can give to.
That was not something I was considering when I was working on this bill, Representative.
Is there any other state that has adopted these types of policies?
Not that I'm aware of, Representative.
So you're not aware of any country or any state that allows a non-citizen to have voting rights on our institutions?
Not that I am aware of, Representative.
And in your view, that is good policy?
I believe that Illinois should be a leader in diversity.
A leader in diversity, or a leader in diversity, or a leader in non-citizens' abilities to vote?
I believe in diversity, like I said before.
Is there anything in this bill that addresses diversity, or is this bill specific to the ability for a non-citizen having voting rights if duly elected by the students?
So just to be clear, there's like no language in the bill that specifically states that an undocumented person may run for this position.
I've never once mentioned undocumented, sir. I'm just talking non-citizen. Your party wants to talk about undocumented. I'm talking non-citizen. The entire world, in your words, Representative, in the entire world, not one country you're aware of has adopted such policies. Not one state has adopted such policies, and you want to set a policy for our educational institution for non-citizens. Your party is mentioning non-documented. I haven't mentioned it once, and nobody on my side of the aisle has mentioned it once. So answer the question, please.
So do you believe we should not give opportunities for some of those students that are asylum seekers or refugees?
To the bill, I think this is yet another attempt by our Democratic colleagues to extend voting rights to non-citizens throughout the world. There's not been one example that the representative can point to that there has been any best practice. This is terrible practice. The ability to bond out our institutions, the ability to set policy, the ability to adopt tenure. I urge a no vote.